If you're over 60 and you eat avocado thinking it's one of the healthiest things in your kitchen, you might be right, but only partly. Because the truth is, avocados can absolutely support your heart, brain, and hormones, but only when you eat them the right way. And that's where most seniors go wrong. In fact, new research shows that certain avocado mistakes may actually raise stroke risk in older adults, especially if you're already dealing with high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, or blood-thinning medications. That doesn't mean you should stop eating avocados altogether, far from it. But it does mean you need to know the 6 silent mistakes that could be putting your brain, heart, and longevity at risk. In this video, you'll discover exactly what these 6 mistakes are and how to fix them. Each one is backed by science, explained in plain English, and paired with real-life stories of seniors who learned how to turn this creamy fruit from a danger into a daily health advantage. Stick around, because mistake number 2 is something even most doctors never mention, but it's linked to higher inflammation and silent blood vessel damage. If you're serious about protecting your brain, your heart, and your independence, hit subscribe, and let's start with the first avocado mistake that could be quietly sabotaging your health. Mistake number 1, eating too much at once, the hidden blood thinner conflict. Let's start with something that sounds innocent, even healthy, eating a whole avocado in one sitting. After all, it's a fruit, right? It's packed with good fats, fiber, and potassium. What could go wrong? Well, here's what most people don't realize. One whole avocado contains more than 22 grams of fat. While it's mostly monounsaturated fat, which supports heart health, it's still fat. And fat interacts with medication, especially the kinds that seniors over 60 often rely on. If you're taking blood thinners like warfarin or aspirin or cholesterol medications like statins, a large amount of fat, especially eaten at night, can change how your liver metabolizes those drugs. That means your medication might not work the way it's supposed to, or worse, it may work too well, putting you at risk for excessive bleeding, dizziness, or even hemorrhagic stroke. And it's not just the meds. Your digestive system slows down with age, which means a high-fat meal can linger longer, causing reflux, sluggishness, and even poor sleep, all of which contribute to long-term inflammation and cognitive decline. A man named Henry, 67, shared that he'd been eating a whole avocado every night with toast. It became his routine, but he noticed he was getting more lightheaded during his walks. His doctor found fluctuations in his INR levels, how quickly his blood clots, and adjusted his meds. But it wasn't until he cut back to half an avocado every other day that his energy returned and his blood levels stabilized. The lesson? Avocados are powerful, but more isn't always better. Here's what to do instead. Stick to 1/4 to 1/2 of an avocado per serving. If you're on medications, don't eat it within 2 hours of your dose, and if you eat avocado daily, space out your servings across the week, rather than loading up in one meal. You'll still get the benefits, healthy fats, potassium, fiber, without overwhelming your system or disrupting your meds. And if you think this first mistake is surprising, just wait until you hear the next one. It's about something that hides in your kitchen drawer and transforms a healthy avocado into a heart hazard before you even taste it. Let's talk about that next. Mistake number 2, using the wrong knife, oxidized fats that harm your heart. You probably don't give much thought to the knife you use to cut an avocado, but this small kitchen habit could be creating a much bigger problem, especially for your heart. Here's why. When the flesh of an avocado is exposed to air, it starts to oxidize. That's when the fats inside the fruit begin to break down and form compounds that are no longer protective, but potentially harmful. This process speeds up when you use certain types of knives, particularly those made from cheap metals or carbon steel. These metals can catalyze oxidation, especially when combined with air and light. The creamy, heart-healthy fat in your avocado begins transforming into something else, lipid peroxides. What are lipid peroxides? They're damaged fat molecules that can enter your bloodstream and cause inflammation in the arteries. And here's where it gets serious. Long-term exposure to these oxidized fats has been linked in multiple studies to atherosclerosis, the stiffening and narrowing of blood vessels that increases your risk of heart attack and stroke. Now, for someone in their 30s or 40s, the body can often handle small doses of these reactive fats. But for adults over 60, especially those already dealing with hypertension, cholesterol imbalances, or diabetes, even a small increase in oxidative stress can tip the scale in the wrong direction. A recent study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that adults over 60 who consumed higher levels of oxidized fats had an increased risk of stroke compared to those with lower exposure. That doesn't mean you should stop eating avocados, it means you need to handle them correctly. A woman named Teresa, 71, shared that she always cut her avocados with an old serrated knife she kept in the drawer. But after watching her blood pressure creep up despite healthy eating, she started making small changes. One of them was switching to a non-reactive ceramic knife, which doesn't accelerate oxidation. Within weeks, she noticed her morning numbers began to normalize and she felt less sluggish after meals. Her avocado stayed greener longer, and she learned how even tiny details can create a ripple effect on overall health. So, what should you do? Use a ceramic or high-grade stainless steel knife to slice your avocado. If you're not eating it all right away, store it with lemon juice and cover the surface tightly to limit air exposure. Avoid leaving cut avocado in warm or bright areas, which speed up oxidation. And if the flesh turns brown or gray, toss it. That's a sign those fats are no longer doing your heart any favors. Oxidation is sneaky. It happens in seconds, and the damage it creates builds slowly over time. But now that you know, you can take back control, one slice at a time. Next, we'll explore a mistake that happens after you eat avocado when your body tries to digest it. If your gallbladder isn't working like it used to, this creamy fruit could actually be stalling your metabolism and backing up your liver. Mistake number 3. Eating avocados with a sluggish gallbladder, the digestion disaster. Avocados are rich, creamy, and full of good fats, but they can become a real problem if your body can't break those fats down properly. That's where your gallbladder comes in. The gallbladder is a small organ that stores and releases bile, which is critical for digesting fat. But as we age, especially after 60, the gallbladder often becomes sluggish or underactive. In some people, it's been removed altogether. When bile flow is weak or absent, your body struggles to digest even healthy fats like those found in avocados. Instead of being broken down and absorbed smoothly, the fats sit in the gut, causing bloating, indigestion, gas, and in some cases, fatty liver buildup, especially if you're eating avocado daily. Even worse, undigested fat can interfere with nutrient absorption, especially fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, all of which are essential for hormone production, brain health, immune defense, and blood clotting. This means that your healthy avocado snack could be blocking the very nutrients your body needs to thrive. Take 68-year-old Carlos, for example. He loved his daily avocado toast but always felt heavy and tired after eating. At first he thought it was just age, but after some tests, he found his bile production was low. His doctor recommended he eat smaller portions of fat and add bile-supporting foods like lemon water, beets, and digestive bitters. Carlos adjusted his routine. Instead of eating half an avocado, he switched to a quarter. He squeezed lemon juice over it and ate it with steamed spinach and a small scoop of sauerkraut. Within days, his digestion improved. No more bloating, more energy, and a clearer head in the mornings. So how do you know if you might have a sluggish gallbladder? Watch for signs like bloating or discomfort after fatty meals, pale or floating stools, pain under the right rib cage, feeling nauseous after avocado, cheese, or eggs. And here's what you can do. Eat avocados with a splash of lemon or apple cider vinegar, add bitter greens like arugula or dandelion to your meal, eat smaller portions. 1/4 of an avocado is plenty if digestion is sluggish. Avoid combining avocado with other fatty foods like cheese, oils, or nuts in the same meal. The goal isn't to fear fat, it's to support the systems that help your body use fat properly. When your digestion is strong, avocado becomes a healing food. When your digestion is weak, it can quietly add to your burden. And if you think digestion is the end of the story, the next mistake happens before you even get the avocado into your mouth. It's a common prep habit that can turn this heart-friendly fruit into a hidden sodium bomb that raises blood pressure without you even realizing it. Let's uncover that next. Mistake number 4, adding salt without realizing it, the silent sodium trap. This next mistake is one of the most overlooked, and it happens in kitchens everywhere. It's when you take a perfectly ripe avocado, mash it into toast, guacamole, or a side dish, and then sprinkle on salt. Not a pinch, not a measured amount, just a quick shake or two from the salt shaker. It seems harmless, right? But for men and women over 60, this small habit can silently raise your stroke risk, spike blood pressure, and cancel out many of avocado's natural benefits. Here's what's really happening. Avocados are already rich in potassium, a mineral that helps lower blood pressure by relaxing blood vessels and balancing out sodium levels in the body. But when you add salt on top, especially in excess, it creates a mineral imbalance. Why does that matter? because too much sodium tightens blood vessels, increases fluid retention, and places extra strain on your heart. In older adults, especially those with pre-hypertension or who are on blood pressure meds, this can lead to dangerous fluctuations in blood pressure overnight, one of the top predictors of stroke, heart failure, and sudden morning cardiac events. And here's the catch: you might not realize how much sodium you're actually adding. Salted guacamole from restaurants or store-bought tubs? Some contain up to 400 milligrams of sodium per serving. Add chips, and you've now eaten over half your daily sodium limit in a single snack. That's a huge problem when you consider that 75% of adults over 60 already exceed the recommended 1,500 milliliters daily sodium limit, often without even knowing it. A woman named Judith, 74, said that she was trying to eat healthier and replaced butter with mashed avocado on toast, but she added a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lime every time. Within a few months, her blood pressure readings began to climb, even though her diet seemed clean. It wasn't until she replaced the salt with a few salt-free seasoning blends and chopped herbs that her numbers came down, and she started sleeping better too. So how do you keep your avocado flavorful without inviting in too much sodium? Try these. Replace salt with lemon or lime juice, which brightens flavor. Add fresh herbs like cilantro, parsley, or chives for a savory kick. Sprinkle nutritional yeast or garlic powder for a cheesy, salty taste without the salt. Use salt-free seasoning blends made with dried onions, paprika, and herbs. If you do use salt, measure it and aim for no more than 1/8 teaspoon per meal. The bottom line, don't let sodium sneak into your routine under the disguise of a healthy food. You can enjoy your avocado, but keep the flavor smart and your pressure low. Up next, we're looking at something even trickier. A mistake that involves how you pair avocado with other foods and how certain combinations can quietly block nutrient absorption, disrupt hormones, and make your healthy meal much less effective. Mistake number 5, pairing avocados with the wrong foods. The nutrient blocker combo. Avocados are praised for being nutrient-dense, but what if the way you're pairing them with other foods is actually preventing your body from using those nutrients? It happens more often than you think. You see, avocados are rich in healthy fats, which help absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. But when you combine avocado with high-fiber grains, dense legumes, or processed seed oils, you may be creating the perfect storm for nutrient malabsorption. Here's why. Your body needs a careful balance of fat, fiber, and digestive enzymes to absorb nutrients. But certain combinations, especially those eaten cold or without proper digestive support, can overwhelm your system. For example, adding avocado to a chickpea salad on whole grain bread with tahini dressing and hummus sounds healthy, right? But in older adults with slower digestion, that kind of combo can block zinc and iron absorption, reduce uptake of vitamin K2, which supports heart and bone health, and trigger bloating, sluggishness, and blood sugar crashes later in the day. This is especially concerning for seniors who already have weaker enzyme production, reduced stomach acid, or take medications like PPIs or antacids, which further impair digestion. Let's look at an example. Margaret, 69, was eating what she thought was a power lunch, avocado toast with flaxseed, lentils, and olive oil drizzle. But after meals, she felt tired and unfocused. Her doctor found that she was low in vitamin D and B12 despite eating well. Once she simplified her meals and learned to pair avocado with lighter enzyme-friendly foods, her energy returned and her lab numbers improved. Here's what to avoid when eating avocado. Avoid pairing with multiple dense fats, like nuts, oils, tahini, or fatty meats. Don't mix avocado with excessive raw legumes or large servings of whole grains in one sitting, and be mindful of pairing avocado with foods that are high in phytates, which block mineral absorption. And here's how to get it right. Combine avocado with lightly cooked vegetables like zucchini, spinach, or asparagus. Add a squeeze of lemon or apple cider vinegar to enhance digestion. Keep meals simple. Avocado plus greens plus protein is a winning formula. If you're eating avocado on toast, choose sourdough or sprouted grain bread, which digests easier. Remember, you don't need to avoid healthy foods, you just need to sequence them properly. Your body has a limited digestive capacity, especially after 60. When you give it what it can handle, you absorb more, feel better, and unlock the true power of each ingredient. Now, there's one final mistake we need to cover, and it's one that affects how long your avocado is helping you or quietly hurting you. Because what you do after you slice it may determine whether you're feeding your brain or feeding inflammation. Mistake number 6, storing it wrong, turning a brain-boosting fruit into a toxin trap. You sliced your avocado, used half, and saved the rest for later. Sounds smart, right? Not always, because how you store the leftover avocado could be turning this healthy fruit into a source of hidden toxins and inflammation, especially if you're eating it the next day without checking how it's changed. Here's what's really happening. Once avocado is exposed to air, the fats begin to oxidize, as we discussed earlier. But when stored improperly, especially in plastic containers or aluminum foil, it can also become contaminated with chemical compounds that leach from the packaging. These compounds, including BPA and phthalates, have been linked to hormonal disruption, blood pressure spikes, and neurotoxicity, especially in older adults. Now layer that with another problem, mold spores. Avocados have a high moisture content, and once cut, they become a breeding ground for mold and bacteria, especially if left in warm or slightly damp fridges. These toxins may not be visible, but they can trigger low-grade inflammation in the gut, interfere with brain signaling, and contribute to senior brain fog, digestive issues, or poor sleep. A study from Environmental Health Perspectives showed that older adults exposed to even trace amounts of endocrine-disrupting chemicals through food storage had a significantly higher risk of cognitive decline and hypertension over time. So, what can you do? Marcia, 72, told us she used to wrap her avocado in foil and toss it into the fridge, but she noticed that her skin was breaking out more often, and she felt sluggish, even though her diet was clean. A nutritionist suggested she switch to glass containers, add a thin layer of lemon juice on the surface, and eat the leftovers within 24 hours. The change was simple, but the results were noticeable. Here's how to store avocado the right way. Only store cut avocado in glass containers, never plastic or foil. Press a piece of beeswax wrap or parchment paper directly onto the surface to reduce air exposure. Add a thin layer of lemon juice or olive oil on top to slow oxidation, and always eat it within 24 hours. If it smells off, looks gray, or has stringy brown lines, toss it. And whatever you do, don't freeze fresh avocado halves. It damages the fats and alters the texture in ways your body won't digest easily, especially if your gut is already sensitive. Proper storage isn't just about taste, it's about keeping those beautiful brain-boosting fats intact so they heal instead of harm. Now that you've seen all 6 mistakes, you might be wondering, how fast can I turn things around? If I make these changes, when will I feel the difference? Let's wrap up with what to expect in the first 7, 14, and 30 days after changing your avocado routine, plus the one reason most people fail and how you can avoid it. And most importantly, a message for every senior who's ever wondered if it's too late to feel strong, sharp, and fully alive again. Now that you've removed the 6 most common avocado mistakes, you may be wondering, when will you feel the difference? The truth is, when your body finally stops fighting silent inflammation, poor digestion, or mineral imbalance, it begins to heal quickly and quietly. In the first 7 days, most seniors report less bloating, deeper sleep, and clearer thinking. That's your digestive system and blood sugar starting to stabilize. By day 14, circulation improves. You may notice more stable energy throughout the day, fewer bathroom trips at night, and better blood pressure readings in the morning. By day 30, something deeper shifts. You may feel lighter in your joints, sharper in your conversations, and more grounded in your own body. And yes, for many seniors, this is when those quiet signs of vitality return: morning arousal, deeper rest, and renewed confidence. This isn't magic. It's simply your body saying thank you for removing the burden and finally giving it what it needs. Most people fail because they treat health like a punishment, not a partnership. They focus on big fixes and ignore the small daily habits that chip away at their progress. They keep making the same silent mistakes, reusing foil, sprinkling salt, pairing good foods the wrong way, and they never see the results they deserve. But that's not you. You're here, learning, adjusting, and paying attention to the final hour of your day, the moment where healing is either supported or sabotaged. And now, you know the difference. If you've ever stood in your kitchen and wondered, is it too late for me? This is your answer: no. You are not too old to feel strong, you are not too far gone to feel rested, and you are not broken just because your body's been asking for help. You are rebuildable, one choice at a time, one habit at a time, one spoon at a time. Whether it's skipping the salt, switching the knife, storing food right, or simplifying your plate, you are telling your body, we're not done, we're just getting started. So tonight, when you reach for that avocado, do it with care, not out of fear, not out of confusion, but with intention. Because healing doesn't happen by accident, it happens by choice. And if this video helped you see things differently, type 1 in the comments so we know you're with us. And if you're just getting started, type start and let's begin together. We're here for you, every night, every step, every spoon.